Alright guys, we're back with some more fantasy baseball content. In this video, I'm going to help some of you guys save your fantasy baseball teams. I put this tweet out a few days ago asking you guys to show me your teams and tell me a little bit about your leagues so I can help you figure out your rosters, get yourself in check, get your teams ready for the playoff push. Or if you guys maybe are playoff teams, get yourself ready for a championship run. Whatever you need, I got your help. And again, if you guys want to interact with these kinds of activities in the future, my Twitter is linked in the description down below. I got so many great responses from you guys. Really appreciate all the interactions. Really great to see. And I bookmarked a bunch of your guys' tweets. I did focus mostly on one, the people who I interact with the most because you guys are the best for that. But two, the people who gave me a little bit more of description about their leagues, their situation. Something about their record, of course their league format, something that they want to do, something they want to fix, a player just got injured, a player they want to replace, things of that nature so I can give the best advice I possibly can. But all right now, let's see what we're working with. The first tweet I pulled is from my guy, McMasters86. 9 teams head-to-head points. I don't even know how I'm close to 500. So let's check this out. 9-team points league is kind of weird because if you're playing head-to-head points league, I don't know how someone has to buy every single week. That's kind of a weird format. But we got Will Smith, good catcher. Luis Arias, 9-team, not a great first baseman. Sims feels pretty weak in a 9-team league. Between Arias, Donovan, Michael Garcia's had a good year, but 9-team league, you got to be really, really, really tight with these guys. And Lindor, Buxton just went in the IL. Nimmo, Springer. I don't know how you're close to 500 either. I'm going to be honest with you. I guess Pena was doing a lot to carry you. Merrill on the bench. Now at least Merrill, you got to replace Buxton. And down here, these pitchers. Hunter Brown, Boyd. Okay. Libra Torres, Musin, Joe Ryan. This is quite a good staff. I would tell you, Mick, right now, you have to start being really, really, I would say really on top of how you're going to stream your hitters the rest of the season. Like, I don't think you should feel that great of a need or that great of a desire to keep a Cedric Mullins on your roster. I don't even think you should really be that great of a desire to keep a Luis Arias on your roster. I guess in the points league, Luis Arias is great, but I'd be looking at player schedules every single week, trying to get the best possible hitters in your lineup, especially on that infield, because also with Garcia and Donovan able to move around their lineup a little bit, you should really be focusing on some second basemen, some third basemen on the waiver wire who maybe have games in Coors Field, have games in Sacramento, have games against the White Sox. You should be aggressively streaming hitters to try and find some guys that can kind of mix in. And for pitching, I think I'd kind of give you the same advice. A lot of these pitchers aren't guys who I'd say need to be on your roster. Definitely not Liberatore, and maybe kind of 50-50 with Rasmussen at this point because we know he's only a 5-inning guy. So I would just say get really aggressive down the waiver wire for the rest of the season. All right, now next up, keeping it moving here, we have Charlie Ding. 10-team weekly head-to-head points leagues, runs, home runs, RBIs, with quality starts, saves, and holds. Andrew Painter in NA spot in a pending trade. Gleyber Torres and Nimmo for Teoscar. I would like Torres and Nimmo for Teoscar. I think it's a good move by you. Have been watching videos since May. Lots of advice. Have been really useful. Literally the best channel. Thank you for that one, Charlie. But taking a look at your team here. Oh, you're sending out Gleyber Torres. That's interesting. Okay, so in a 10-team league, I get wanting to get Teoscar Hernandez because you want the best player in a trade. But I don't really see Nimmo and Teoscar as being that different players for the last 3 months. So you might be losing a little bit there. That's going to push you to the waiver wire. I'm like you, holding Wyatt Langford in a lot of the places. I also understand your need to go out and get some power with Teoscar Hernandez because Aaron Judge going on the injured list, lost Judge on some teams as well. Great depth of your hitters here that you picked up off the waiver wire between Stowers, Barger, and Aranda. You must be watching the channel. Appreciate you for that. And then this is also going to be crazy here. 10-team league. I'm having some serious thoughts about Wyatt Langford. I know the whole Rangers team has gotten hot, and literally on this channel all season, I've talked about waiting for this Rangers team to get hot so we can now use a bunch of their players and like all be hot together. But it's kind of getting tight. I guess now you do have a roster spot, so don't think about that yet. I'm just kind of talking through what's going on with this team out loud. Incredible pitching staff. Damn. And you lost Clase. Damn, that's rough there. But this Ryan Wheeler Skeens triumvirate the top 3. Like, I doubt anyone in your league has a better top 3 pitchers than that. And Ranger Suarez, Liberatore. Liberatore is definitely on the cusp of the 10-team league right now for sure. He's had big regression second half. And Miz and Chase Burns. All right, so I also would say if you want to free up some IL spots, drop Sasaki. I don't know if Sasaki's coming back and being anything going forward the rest of the season. And Little just also got pushed down. I guess you submitted this before the trade actually happened, but he got pushed down to high leverage roles in Toronto with the Sir Anthony Dominguez trade. So, again, but also in the saves and hold league, this time of year is a great time to go and get other guys in bullpens that maybe weren't the highest leverage guys before. Like a guy like Andrew Kittredge right now, until he gets traded, because he might not get traded from the Orioles, has a chance to be the highest leverage guy in that bullpen for the rest of the season. Because it also looks like we're not going to see much Felix Bautista the rest of the way. So I'd recommend to you clearing up some of these injured list spots, Maybe try and get a couple more stashes on there. I'm sure in a league like this, Spencer Arrighetti has already been picked up and rostered. Maybe look after him. But I think the best thing for you, again, look for studs on the waiver wire. Look for guys that have been dropped for no reason. Look for guys that are floating out there that really shouldn't be, because the benches are rather shallow in this league, and you have a big relief spot to go with Emmanuel Clase. So pay really close attention to the trade deadline and grab a guy who's moved up a leverage spot in a bullpen that we don't think was there before. All right, now keep it moving here. Thank you again, Charlie, for the kind words. We have Gabe, 12-team Dynasty head-to-head category, 10-player keeper league. I just took over this team a week ago, last place. Any advice for the second half of the season for next season? Appreciate it. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets always. But taking over, that's the Lord's work right there. Taking over Dynasty League team this late in the season. This team in a 12-team keep 10, it's okay. It looks kind of rough. I like this little scroll we got going here. Caglianone's a good piece. You got to keep Caglianone. You got to keep Walcott for sure. Joe Boyle's an interesting piece right now. You're going to love Joe Boyle next season. But again, to keep in a 10-player keep, I don't know. Well, the first thing I would do, taking over this team right now, seeing what you're going to have in the future. Actually, are you win now? No, you're not win now. You said you're in last place, but you got a lot of win now pieces on this. You have good relievers. You have Wu. You have Skubal. You have Snell. You have Yuri Perez. The first thing I would do right here, definitely with a team like this, when you're in last place in Dynasty League, just kind of like real life teams, the first thing you should be doing is shedding your relief pitchers. Like scrolling over here to your team on this, Gabe. I saw you had Hader, Kirby Yates, Robert Garcia. Dump those guys as soon as you possibly can for as much as you possibly can. You should get a pretty penny for Hader in a categories league like this, especially head-to-head. So again, I would dump him fast. I might think about dumping Soriano, even though I do like him for the future, but he's worth a lot right now. I mean, try and get a haul. If you can get a haul for like a Wu, I wouldn't trade Skubal, but I don't want to trade Wu either. He's so young. But I mean, I guess if you can get someone that's like a bona fide, like top 20 bat that's under 30 years old for someone like Wu, maybe for someone like Hader, a nice buy low and a Sandy Alcantara, someone who we know was terrible this year, but likely is going to be much better next season. See what the word looks like for someone like Spencer Strider. See, even though your pitching is really great, you probably should be focused more on the bats. You definitely need some help on this infield here. Maybe think about like a buy low relatively for someone like O'Neal Cruz. Maybe you try to offer a bunch of these assets, maybe even like a pitching asset or two, like one of those starters like Wu or something, as a package to try and get Gunnar Henderson. Some guys that we know are elite talents down the line that are going to be infield eligible, because again, I think your infield needs some help here. Between Nico Horner, Bryce Turang, Trevor Story, like you definitely need, that's where you need the infusion of talent to get this thing good. And you have like 6 or 7 really talented pitchers there. But I would start focusing on Josh Hader trades for guys that have had down years this year who we really expect to bounce back next year, especially on the middle infield. But again, Gabe, shout out you for taking over a last place Dynasty team midseason like that. Like we tip the caps to the players like that. But now moving on here, the next one I got from Philip M. Janus. I hope I said that right. 13-team rotisserie, wasn't first all year until July. Now mid-pack, decent pitching options on waivers, trying to package something together and move Contreras. All right, now let's check out your team, Philip. We have another squad here that lost Aaron Judge. I feel like that could be the norm moving forward here. I like the Noelvi. I like the Evan Carter. Cole Keith, Ben Rice, definitely someone paying attention to some of these videos. Yeah, William Contreras. I figured you meant William, not Wilson. I think at this point in the season, it's going to be hard to move William Contreras. The sell window on William Contreras, to sell him low, probably ended around like Memorial Day. I think everyone knows that this is just a full-on down season from William Contreras, and one that probably bounces back from next year, because I know he's been playing with that broken, I think, thumb most of the season, but that's a rough spot. And again, you fall into the mid-table. Again, I don't know if you're trading Contreras. Maybe the guy to trade is like a David Peterson. I don't know. That's sacrilege. I hope my Mets people aren't listening, but we just know David Peterson is not getting many strikeouts, and the whip is not really that good. At this point also, wow, you really got screwed there. Judge, Reagans, and Michael King. I definitely know why you fall into the middle of the table. You've done really good to patch this pitching together between Trevor Rogers, Quinn Priester, Brian Bayo. Like, this is a really good job managing by you. And you're saying there's pitching options out there on waivers. So I think that, I make Mickey Moniak. You really saved the day here. I think you should definitely convert some of these hitters on the bench to pitchers. At this point in the season, unless we see a trade shakeup, Ben Rice has lost a lot of steam, a lot of shine, a lot of value. I guess you do need him, though, for that catcher eligibility. But if he's only playing half the games in a week, it's hard to justify Ben Rice in a spot like this when it seems like you're in a spot where you probably have to be spamming more pitching, because from this staff, you don't really have a consistent, steady horse. Like, you're getting a lot of good results out of Peterson. Rodon started off really good. Now he's fallen off. Bayo, Williams, Rogers, and Quinn Priester, you are kind of playing with fire, and not having pitchers on the bench, I think you're playing with more fire. I would be dropping Ben Rice, probably, maybe Cole Keith. I would drop one of the guys. Whoever you think is less functional to your roster, and based on the way it looks, we do have a lot of everyday players besides Keith. I don't know. It's a catcher. The catcher eligibility for Rice pushing it up. Maybe even Spencer Jones. If that's not an NA spot for Spencer Jones, you're just stashing Spencer Jones, that's probably not a good move either. And you also probably, I guess, could consider dumping one of Reagans or King, just because you have now Judge sitting in that IL spot. That glut of bench hitters is kind of limiting you, it feels like. I would start pushing to get more bench pitchers. And you said there's good pitching option on the waiver wire, so I think that's the direction we should be going together here. So moving on, next squad I have picked out here, It's my girl Shannon. Shannon's the GOAT. Shannon said this is where she shines because when I did the rate and review teams video about a month and a half ago, I kind of roasted hers a little bit because her team's not that great. She has a lot of fandom player affinities that she seems like she takes to these fantasy baseball rooms. As you guys can see with someone like Wilmer Flores, Mark Canha, Andres Jimenez, she likes to gather up the former Mets. So I think, Shannon, I'll give you the advice. I don't know if you want to hear it. I know you can stuff Mark Canha on the injured list right now, and it helps give you that roster spot. Well, you don't have to actually deal with having Mark Canha. But if someone else gets hurt, probably a good time to drop both Mark Canha and Andres Jimenez because the rest of this team is good. This is a team that should be competing for a playoff spot. Led by Kyle Raleigh, Bryce Harper, and Semien getting hot. Devers is the weird one, but Ellie's been amazing for like 2.5 months now. Durant's picked it up. Grisham's played well all year. Same with Rafaela. Well, mostly Rafaela, been hot since May, but you know what I mean. CJ Abrams in the util, O'Neal Cruz on the bench. Like, that's a lineup, especially even in a 9-team league where you should be ready for action. Cease, Gray, Yuri, Skeens, and Webb. Again, you probably do need another pitcher. I don't know where you can trade for one, though. I mean, honestly, you should maybe, like, get rid of one of these middle infielders and try and get yourself one more pitcher to try and just get hot before the playoffs and get in with a big-time staff. Because with Skeens, Webb, Yuri, you probably have 3 of the top 25, 30 pitchers in the league right there. And Cease, I think, is one of those as well. Same with Sonny Gray. He's definitely, like, 32, maybe 33. Like, that's a 5-man staff that's ready to go for a playoff series. Losing Schwellenbach does suck. You could probably drop him as well and try and free up another IL spot. Maybe get some of the stashes I've been talking about on this channel. But at this point, just between having Ellie, Rafaela, and O'Neal Cruz as shortstop eligible guys, good time to dump one of them and try and get one more pitcher. Maybe even Rafaela is the guy you trade, as one is clearly off that, or maybe O'Neal Cruz just because he has the shine, but this year still hasn't really clicked in all the way. You get just one more like nice middle rotation pitcher that we know can carry us. I'm gonna do the pitching rankings next week. So someone that's ranked around like 25 to 35 pitcher. Probably maybe like a Freddie Peralta for O'Neal Cruz. Maybe someone a little worse than Freddie Peralta. That's a good spot I think I'd go for you, Shannon. Get this team ready for the playoffs if you have a chance to make the playoffs. I don't know what your record is. But now keep it moving here. Going to do a few more squads. We have Aaron, 10-man, head-to-head, points, 3-13 record. 3-13 record, I don't know if I can help you that much anymore. It seems like you got nothing. The first thing I would definitely tell you, third baseman. I got to start at third baseman. You can't leave a position blank over there. 10-team league, Vaughn and Terang are both very weak as 10-team starters. Outfield's great. I'm sorry you lost Judge. You know, Abrams, O'Neal Cruz, Yandy, that's a very impressive utility spot, too, in a 10-team league. Yikes, pitching's kind of rough right now. I mean, Ben Brown, he came back from the minors. He went straight back down. Mitch Keller's been all over the place. Dylan Cease, I believe in heavily, but we know he's been all over the place. Tanner Scott injured list, Zach Wheeler injured list. You need an exorcism, Aaron. You need a lot of help with this squad. You've done a decent job on this bench. Get rid of Walker Buehler. The guy stinks. You got your work cut out for you, Aaron. Maybe you can run the table and sneak into the last playoff spot, but I don't really know what's going to happen here, homie. So I'm moving on here. Again, maybe I'll do 2 more of these. Let's see, who do I like? 10 teams head-to-head. All right, let's do Freeman is king over here. Dodgers fan. Aaron R. 12-team head-to-head categories. Currently tied for first, but just lost Bubic. So just losing Bubic is a big deal. Bubic is probably out for the year. If he pitches again this year, it's probably not going to be that relevant. Another Kyle Raleigh team. A lot of you guys with good teams have Kyle Raleigh. It makes a lot of sense. Zach McKinstry is a sneaky CI in a 12-team league. I like that. Same Brand Donovan's great. Henio Suarez, if you can get that guy to another hitter's park, another really good lineup, might go ballistic in the second half. You do have a very balanced lineup. I like that in head-to-head categories because you know you can go into every single matchup looking to win everything. Chandler Simpson, Rafael alone can win you stolen bases in a week. And then in terms of power, Julio when he's on the road. Langalier's in the utility spot's kind of weird. I'm never a 2-catcher guy, but with Cal Raleigh, it does kind of work. But then Raleigh, Langoliers, Harper, Henio Suarez, like you got good power. If you have like real Mookie Betts, if Mookie Betts ever snaps back in and becomes like the last year's version, the last decade's version of Mookie Betts, I don't know how anyone can really beat you in a week of hitting. But now let's take a look at this pitching for a second. Gore and Wheeler, you still good there. Alcantara, like it's just, that's a tough this year because you still want to hang on. Burns, Lodolo, this is a good mix right now to have because I think, well, you've seen Lodolo, the top end he can do, and we're still banking on Chase Burns on this channel for the rest of the season. Same with Lugo. Woo's awesome. Even losing Bubic, it seems like this team's great. I wouldn't really recommend much more, especially keeping a guy like Slade right now. He's got some good matchups coming up. You know he's someone that pitches deeply into games. The ratios may not be pristine, but just getting the quality starts from Slade Ciccone going forward is a huge bump. I'd be playing it pretty tight with your team right now. I won't think I'd be freaking out a little bit just by losing Bubic. I think the one thing I would be worried about, though, is this Kenley Jansen, David Bednar tandem for saves, especially not being a saves and holds league. You have to be vigilant to the trade deadline this week. You have to be picking up relievers that you might perceive as being not very good, but just the ones that are going to have but just the ones that really could have save chances the rest of the season. Someone like Phil Maton, if the Cardinals don't trade them, or if they hold on Jojo Romero. Someone again like Andrew Kittredge, whoever gets the closer's role in Baltimore. Paying attention to that's big for you because you're going to lose one of these closers, if not 2 of them, by the trade deadline. So losing saves in the weekly category, that's a rough spot to be. So now maybe one more team I'm going to do here. Actually, I do have to to do it. My cousin responded to me. I'm going to do a little nepotism right now. I got to pick his team. Jay DeLuca, my guy Joe. If any of you guys like the Jets, definitely follow him on here at JDeLuca_. This is Joe's first season really seriously playing fantasy baseball, and I know that he's had a really good season, but I also know he's never gone through the rigors of a fantasy baseball postseason trying to get those little micro matchups to win every single way you can. So I'm gonna tear his team apart here. See if he even watches the channel. But Ada Lopez at second. You've gotten a lot out of Ada Lopez this season. I know how bad second base is. But that's a position before the postseason, Joe. I would be trying to look for lightning in a bottle. I'd be looking for a guy like Ronnie Mauricio. I'd be looking at guys like Brett Baty. Weirdly, I just mentioned 2 guys on the Mets. But players with crazy tools that are now having an opportunity to play at least nearly every single day that can get the production. Because while Ada Lopez is a good grinder and he kind of gets you through the regular season and pushes you to the playoffs, in the playoffs, that's a spot where you want to upgrade because you're going to be playing more high-profile teams week in, week out. And then also just blanket statement, drop Jurickson Profar. There's definitely a more high-potential, high-profile outfielder, infielder, anything than Jurickson Profar on free agency. He's not worth it really in any league. I don't know what the appeal is Jurickson Profar at this point. And then your pitching staff, this is nice here, but you're going to be looking for some innings. Having Bailey Ober there as a stash coming back, I like Ober a lot for the next few weeks. Trevor McGill, great closer. But this mix of Strider, Senga, Priester, Dylan Cease, there's a lot of uncertainty going forward. No, Strider's been a lot better recently. David Peterson's been good all year. Freddie Peralta's also been an ace. But there are similarly, again, if you've been watching some of these videos, a guy like Zebby Matthews has so much potential and is really widely available in 12-team leagues. Even someone I've been talking about like Chase Burns. Hit that waiver wire, look for strikeouts, and also just text me. If you show me your waiver wire, I'll tell you what to do. Maybe not the rest of you guys, but definitely my cousin Joe. But now I'm going to find one more of these before I let you guys go. Again, I bookmarked a bunch. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you. I can't get to all of them. So great that you guys sent me so many responses, but also how much you guys have loved this series. I think this is something I'm going to do going forward once a month. Also, we don't have that many more months of this fantasy baseball season, but next year, this is going to be a mainstay on this channel. But last thing right here, let's take Bug Selig. Just because your ad is awesome, Bug Selig is sick. 10-team head-to-head points. Second place currently leading in total points. That's great. You should be feeling good about your playoff chances. Leading in total points in second place, you're ready to rip. I'm expecting to see a really good team here. Augustine Ramirez, Pete. Pete's been ice cold. We're going on a full month from Pete Alonso with like a 4,500 OPS. It's kind of crazy considering how he started the season. I have a lot of teams with Pete on them too. Of course, I'm trusting I'm not doing anything, but it's weird to see a guy as good as Pete get this cold. I mean, looking at this lineup, there isn't really a hole or a flaw. I know you're starting Perdomo right now with Buxton out, but like Perdomo is the guy to upgrade on. But Perdomo also keeps hitting the season. He keeps just absolutely laughing in my face when I say the regression is coming. So especially in a points league, a guy like Perdomo who drives in tons of runs, makes tons of contact, like yeah, keep riding Perdomo. Especially with Buxton on the IL. I know it's the cartilage rib thing, so maybe it's a minimum stay. We don't really know. And as far as your pitching staff goes, this is a studly staff. Losing Bubic hurts. If you have anyone else that goes in the IL like Buxton, I would recommend dropping Bubic and then bringing Buxton on the IL to get that free roster spot. Rotate a shoulder injury for Bubic, someone who's really hitting a peak in innings. It doesn't look good. I don't know what you're getting from the rest of the season. So I drop Bubic. I put Buxton in the IL spot now that he is IL eligible. You might have done this already. I know I put this tweet out a day ago when you sent me the screenshot, but that's where I'd look. And then you have a deep pitching bench. Maybe look for another hitter over there. Maybe one more hitter that can be like very positionally eligible. Someone that you can use to plug holes. Like someone like, I mentioned Mauricio, I mentioned Bailey. Those are both eligible a few places. A Willie Castro is eligible all over the field. I don't know if these guys are necessarily free agents in your league. Same with like a Miguel Vargas who can plug and play in a lot of different places. But those are the kind of guys I would look at right now. So you know you can keep your team safe and have one bench player represent like multiple bench players. Because this pitching staff is deep. Burns, Yamamoto, Rasmussen, Peralta, Baz, Williams, Leiter, Yuri, Rodon, Fried, Bayo, Giolito. Like that's a deep staff. Maybe Leiter and Baz are both the guys on the razor's edge. I don't really know how many more innings they're going to throw the rest of the season. Leiter has been good lately, but we're still not getting the big strikeout numbers we want from someone with that kind of fastball and that deep pitch mix off it. So pay attention to those guys' future schedules. I love using the ESPN schedule tab because I think it's just the best way that best UI to look at future pitching matchups. But just I'm going to quickly scan for Jack Leiter's matchups coming up. Because again, if he's a guy who has a bunch of bad matchups coming up, I just don't know if he's worth rostering a 12-team league at this point, especially a non-keeper league. So we're going to get Leiter at Seattle. It's a good matchup. Versus Yankees, bad matchup. Versus Arizona, good matchup. All right, so your next three. And then after versus Arizona, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Versus Arizona, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At Kansas City, great matchup. Versus Cleveland. All right, Leiter's got great matchups coming up. So hold on to Leiter. Totally ignore me. But again, pay attention to him and Baz. Pay attention to their managers say anything about innings limits. Pay attention to the schedules coming up because those are the obvious spots I think to upgrade. But really just the edge of your roster. This bug, looks like a championship team to me. But all right, thank you guys so much. I hope I gave you guys some great advice. Again, if I didn't get to your guys' teams, I'm sorry about that. This may be another video I will try before the end of the season. Maybe like for playoff teams only. Maybe I'll ask you guys to give me more of a description so I have more to work off of. Because there were so many replies to this tweet, like another crick squirrel, just over, so many people. So again, I wish I could get to all of your guys' things, but that video would be 2 hours long. Big reason why I think I'm going to consider starting live streaming on Mondays, 11 a.m. Maybe this Monday. Really good chance another Monday after this, just because I'm going to do a lot of trade deadline content, other regular content this weekend, and have a get together with some friends on Sunday. But moving forward, I think I do want to do some more interactive stuff with you guys. You can ask me specific questions about your teams, because I try to get to all the comments, but it gets a little hard sometimes. Same with your guys' questions on Twitter. My DMs are insane. You guys wouldn't even believe what my DMs look like these days. I can't even believe it, but that's all thanks to you guys. Thank you for being with me all season. Thank you for appreciating and watching these videos. It means even more than you know. I'm still getting close to the 7,000 subscriber goal. It's not going to happen by the end of July, but I really hope to get there fast. So if you guys are watching this video and not subscribed, and I see the analytics on the channel, about 50% of you guys are watching are not subscribed, please, right down there, big black subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos coming out, because a lot of fun stuff. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.